Well, good weekend. Ira Epstein, and here we are with your metal market wrap up. This is your weekly edition where we're going to look at the weekly charts for this December 20th, 2025. Well, you know we're in the Santa Claus period in the market, and people talk about that. And you had a nice rally happen on the Friday markets, but the metal markets were no slouches, up $22 in the gold. Silver market just running to the upside, up $2.27. Copper, this was off the highs by 6 cents, but a nice gain, 7 cents a pound. And platinum just running new highs on these moves. It's not to be stopped right now. Now, what do we have coming on Monday? Well, first, there's no new economic data, but there'll be lots of discussion about the Santa Claus rally. And here's what it is. Since 1928, if you do your analysis, the S&P 500 has climbed 75% of the time, according to Citadel Securities and other studies I've read, by the way, in the last 2 weeks of December, and on average, it's risen about 1.3%. Yale Hirsch from the Stock Traders Almanac is who I know who developed the theory of the Santa Claus rally, the name of it, because what Citadel's done, they found a seasonal in the last 2 weeks of the year. But Yale found that the rally itself encompasses the last 5 trading sessions of the year. That's not calendar days. It's trading sessions of the year and the first 2 of the new year. Got that? That's what it formally is. Now, we did see U.S. interest rates actually climbed on Friday. A very mixed bag. Yeah, and so your currencies didn't do a lot. The grain market not doing anything. But this is about metals, so let's talk about the metals and see what we can get. On a monthly chart, if it finished right here, you're up nearly 4%. You're up $143 for the month, and this would be on a monthly chart an all-time high close. As we come to the weekly bar, you can see what the market is doing. The market is knocking on the door of those highs. Remember, I was pointing this out to you just recently on the daily chart, and I said, don't know if they're going to be able to make it or not, and we'll find out if the market can do anything with it, but it is an interesting chart. When we take a look at the swing lines, higher lows, higher highs, right into the old highs. So you have a market that if it wants to add from here, it can do so. And because it would be setting all-time highs, everybody that is short under the market is caught on a weekly basis. They're wrong. And everybody on each new high that is long is making the money. I know it sounds strange, but it is the way that it is. So you want to keep your eye on that because it is a factor at play. The weekly moving average of closes, I don't think they're in play right now. The market's over all of them. What is in play is where the Bollinger Band is, and it's at 45,006 on a weekly chart. That's a big number. The slow stochastics, well, you can see they're coming up. Are they embedded yet? Embedded means both numbers on the left, see SSTO to the left, they have to be over 80. Well, they weren't there. Let me come back here. I went too fast on it. Here we go. Right here, both numbers over 80 and both over 80. So if you embed this coming week with the numbers over 80, the odds follow that until the red line would close back under 79, you have higher prices that are potentially ahead. Take a look at the gold-silver ratio. You've heard me talk about this over and over. We were up to the 104 level. You're now down to 65. I remember when it used to average 32 to 35. Are we going there is a big question. In silver, the hardest thing about buying at these prices, one of the hardest things is where would you put a stop other than a monetary stop? The second thing is I don't believe in buying over Bollinger Bands as you only stay over them 5% of the time. That doesn't mean you can't do this. This is the first time you're over it. Last week, if you look, you finished the week at 61.36, and the Bollinger Band itself was, I believe, a little bit under that. Whoops, I didn't mean to do that, folks. I'm sorry. What I tried to do is get it to show all the numbers here, and I can't get it to do that. So we'll just let it go at that. But the market basically was right under that number. So you're back over it for a moment now. Let's get to the copper market. Copper's right against the upper Bollinger Band. That's why it keeps stalling out. It's been doing it 3 weeks in a row. It's hard to be over it. But platinum, no way. Platinum just said, I'm champion. And away it ran to the upside. This is a huge week in platinum. This isn't a little rally. $261 an ounce is a big number. 15% just on the weekly basis. Huge, huge. And the dollar, well, is the dollar going to have trouble at the 18-week average? I happen to think it will. And I happen to think that from the fundamentals I'm saying, I'm expecting that the dollar will have a bad first half of the year, breaking down. We'll see if I'm right or wrong on that. I'll be very surprised if prices on a weekly basis get back over 135. Doesn't mean it can't happen. I've been surprised before, but I don't think that's really in the cards right now. So I think we're going to enter a period of day trading. And that's what will go on now as the volume will lighten up, people leaving for the holidays. And if you learn to use the pivot point formula, you get an idea of the neutral number, where the sell numbers are, where the buy numbers are. This is all for intraday trading and no more than that. And I use it with my stochastics the way that I teach. Now, I've made a free, the word is free, course for you to see on that. Just go into the free offers at iraepstein.com, free offers, and you'll see it's one of the panels that you can choose. iraepstein.com, or you can move your cursor up here, or if you're watching us on YouTube, it'll show up right here. Give it a click and you'll be able to get to the free offers. I'm Ira. You have yourself a great weekend. I'll catch up with everybody on Monday.